You are looking at Mother Diva's House special segment review, and I am the fabulous Mother Diva, the Madam Ambassador of House and Electronic Dance Music, and I have breaking news. Brace yourselves for all of you people who live in Cook County. I want to let you know that this is not an endorsement for any other candidate that's running for this particular office. Breaking news, breaking news. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx, her neighbor, Christopher Young, 52 years old, raped a 6-year-old girl, and the judge gave him bail. Now you might say, well, Mother Diva, how do you know that Kim Foxx's neighbor raped a 6-year-old girl? Because this monster is also my neighbor, and he lives right around the corner from me in FLOSSMOOR, which means Kim Foxx, the current Cook County State's Attorney, is also my neighbor too. So let me just give you some brief information on how all of this started and why I'm making this video. Because I'm sending this video all over social media. Kim Foxx is not fit to serve in office. I have had it with her, and I have had it with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. This is an injustice, and it is not right, and she needs to be fired. So from now to Election Day, please do not vote for Kim Foxx. I am not going to tell you who to vote for, but there are 3 other candidates running. You pick the one you feel is fit to serve. I've already made other videos pertaining to who I am supporting for Cook County State's Attorney. But I had to be clear in this particular video because I do not want it to appear as if I'm endorsing any other candidate in this video, because this is serious. This is heart-wrenching, and I am extremely bothered by their unprofessionalism, and something needs to be done about this situation. Now, just give you some background on this case. In December of 2013, Christopher Young left his FLOSSMOOR residence and went to Homewood and kidnapped a 6-year-old Homewood resident, brought her back to FLOSSMOOR, raped her, and dropped her off in the freezing cold in the 1300 block of Bunker Road in FLOSSMOOR. A neighbor saw the child, called the police. The police came and got the baby. They ran DNA, but it was no match, which meant that Christopher Young was still at large and had not been caught for these crimes. 6 months later, the DNA came back as no match. Well, in November of 2019, Christopher Young was picked up on a suspicion of a crime. They ran his DNA, and the DNA matched a rape in 2008 of a 20-year-old female. Now, what I couldn't understand is why he wasn't charged with both rapes at the same time with both DNA matches. They charged him with the 2013 rape in November of 2019. Well, he went before the judge and was given a $200,000 bond by Judge Luciano PANICI. This is an injustice. How is it that a person can rape a 6-year-old girl and get bail? $200,000 bond is a D bond is $20,000. It's 10%. He bailed out. 3 days later, he was picked up by the FLOSSMOOR Police Department on failing to signal and for the 2008 rape. When I found this information out, I immediately contacted the executive director of Kids Corner, Delise Williams, and said we have to form a FLOSSMOOR Community Watch meeting because we need to inform our residents and we need to come together as a community to fight this injustice, because this person is a danger to our community and we don't want him back in FLOSSMOOR. He cannot come back here. So I formed a FLOSSMOOR Community Watch meeting, and I invited various members in the community, as well as an alderman who is also an attorney, as well as a FLOSSMOOR community liaison, a representative who was appointed by our mayor here in FLOSSMOOR, and also Judge Sharon O. Johnson was kind enough to come and speak and give us options on what we could do to report this judge if we felt that this judge acted inappropriate.
And finally, this is one reason to get to know who your judicial candidates are. The time to wonder what they think about, setting bail and how they respond to these types of issues is not after, you have a case and it's time for trial. The time is during election time, looking at their bio to see where they come from. Are they tough on crime? Are they, do they indicate or exhibit that they genuinely care for the society? Or is it just a job for them? Are they just checking the box, going down the elements, right, and that's it? Do they look beyond, what's standing right in front of them? Look beyond the pages of the statute and look at each case individually. And so, those are some things that you should look for in the judges that you elect. And we have an election coming up on March 17th. We're electing our Supreme Court judge, appellate court, as well as circuit court judges who are the trial judges. They're the first ones that are going to hear all the evidence and issue that initial ruling. But if there is an associate judge that you believe is not representative of the community, you can certainly, express your concerns to the Chief Judge Evans. There's also the Administrative Office of Illinois Courts that, oversees the judges. There's also the Illinois Judicial Board, who disciplines judges. So there are things that you can do in addition to saying, listen, we don't think this associate should be retained, because they go through retention as well, yes, but it's the circuit judges that are voting yes or no for them. So you can reach out to other judges and say, listen, I don't think, this associate judge should be retained.
Now, after that meeting was over, I reached out to Kim FOXX's office to invite her to come to this community watch meeting. I was told that because the meeting was last minute, and the reason the meeting was last minute is because Christopher Young was going to court the following week, and we needed to get a meeting immediately. So she was unavailable to come. I said, well, can you send another attorney? They said they can see what they can do. Here are copies of the emails that I had been communicating with, so you can see for yourself what they had planned on doing for me. Well, none of that happened. They were not able to send anyone to the meeting, so I just went on with it. After that meeting was over, I then formed a Make a Difference, Make the Laws community meeting in Homewood. I had another judge come, and I also had a chief of staff of one of the state legislators. The purpose of this meeting was to make laws for the state of Illinois pertaining to stronger sex offender laws, because I felt the need to do something. I emailed Kim FOXX's office as well as her campaign office. I got no response. This time they had plenty of time to send her or another attorney. I got no response. I was outraged. I was very disappointed. You mean to tell me that you could not have the decency to respond to my email when something has happened in Kim Foxx's own community? Now let me say this, because this is very important. Because she is a Flossmoor resident, maybe she felt that if she picked this particular case in general to acknowledge, that people would have felt like she was playing favorites in her own community. Well, that's a bunch of crap, because she plays favorites all over Cook County. She does this all the time on a regular basis. Okay, and there's proof of that with many cases. There are several cases where the person got bail that didn't deserve bail. There are cases where people should have gotten bail and didn't get bail. So the office is a mess, and it's due to her leadership. Okay, so I got a call from a state legislator who wanted to work with me on these laws. I was very hurt that no one responded from Kim Foxx's office. Now let me tell you how I even met Kim Foxx. Because in the beginning, I was very much supportive towards her. When she ran in 2016 for Cook County State's Attorney, I have to admit, I did not vote for her. I was not sure. I voted for a different candidate. But she got in office, and I started to take a look at some of the things that she was doing. And I noticed that there seemed to have been some improvements. So I invited her to come and be a guest speaker at my 3-year anniversary of producing house, electronic dance music, DJ sets at the Daily Plaza. These are health and wellness DJ sets. She came over. She was late. The reason she was late was because she had been overturning wrongfully convicted individuals. And I felt that that was honorable. But then I had to think about it. It's your job to overturn wrongfully convicted individuals. It's just like saying, oh, this person is such a good father. They pick their kids up from school, they feed them, they take care of them, they pay the bills. That's what you're supposed to do. We don't need to reward people from doing their job. If they're going above and beyond, that's fine. Reward them. But this is a requirement. And this is what she's getting paid to do. Moving forward, I started to see different cases in the news where individuals were getting bail that didn't deserve bail, and they were getting out on bail and committing the same crime that got them arrested in the first place while they're out on bail. Then there was an incident where a grandmother was attacked by her granddaughter, and when they went to court, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office persuaded the grandmother to drop the charges because they were family. So a granddaughter can beat up her grandmother because she's on drugs and trying to get money from her grandmother, and Kim Foxx's office said, oh, just drop the charges. That's not right. It's not right at all. I was just disheartened by all of the things that I began to see. So this last situation, I just so happened to be at the grocery store, and I met a young lady named Brandy Colbert. She is the mother of James Garrett, an 18-year-old honor student who caught a stray bullet. Her son was murdered, and the police knows who did it, but refused to arrest the person. And they told Brandy Colbert that they didn't have enough evidence to arrest this person. In fact, they didn't even bring this person in for questioning as a person of interest.
Karen, that vigil was hosted where the 18-year-old was shot and killed while attending a vigil for a family friend. His mother and sister tell ABC7 that they are heartbroken as investigators work to find his killer. 18-year-old James Garrett was months into his senior year and just starting to tour different universities.
I was getting ready for prom and graduation. He was so excited.
A chapter his mother, Brandy Colbert, will never see written.
I miss my baby. I gotta go home. My baby ain't with me.
Chicago police say Garrett was killed after he attended a memorial for a family friend near 132nd and South Prairie Avenue. Investigators say a male and a female at the memorial started arguing and then both pulled out guns and started shooting. One of those bullets hit Garrett in the back.
The fact that he was getting ready to go to college with a 3.9 GPA and his career is over with. He's gone now.
Garrett was a star student at Butler College Prep who had dreams of becoming a teacher.
His personality went a long way, and so he wanted to talk to and help younger people from his community.
His mother said their family had moved out of the Eden Green neighborhood a few years ago so that her kids could be safer.
I moved past the airport to get my kids into a better neighborhood. And when I let my son come back over here and visit, this neighborhood took my baby.
Brandy Colbert recently told me that she called the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and they told her that they were unable to give her any of the victim of crime money because she had a $30,000 life insurance policy on her son. I said, victim of crime money has nothing to do with your life insurance policy. Anyone that's a victim of crime in the city of Chicago or Cook County should get victim of crime compensation. What kind of crap is that? So she called back, and the other story is, oh, well, the paperwork is not right. We have to fix the paperwork, and it's going to take you 2 to 3 years to get it. What kind of office conducts business like this? They hardly return phone calls. They hardly return emails. It is just really a mess. My heart goes out to Brandy Colbert for the loss of her son, James Garrett. And I'm going to be following up with her on another story, on another show. But I felt it necessary to make this video. And I know some of you in house music and some of you in the community, you're for Kim FOXX. And that's your choice. But I had to tell my truth and I had to tell my side of it. Now, a lot of people have complained about the Jussie Smollett situation. And people are saying, well, it was an incident that occurred and we need to move on from it. Don't let that be the downfall of Kim FOXX. Here's the issue with that. We live in a society where white America has gotten away with so much crime. When a black person was able to get away with a crime and charges dropped, black people felt vindicated. This is the way people see things. It doesn't matter to a lot of black people that a crime was committed. It happens every day. So Jussie Smollett was their vindication. Now, I personally don't see it that way, maybe because I'm biracial. I'm black and white, so I can speak for both sides. American Indian too, who the American Indians never get a seat at the table. But here's why I'm bothered. Aside from the Jussie Smollett situation, aside from the disorganization that goes on in the office, Kim FOXX is running around playing celebrity. She comes out on a press conference and says, if there is any victims out there who've been victimized by R. Kelly, please come forward. What about the victims of Christopher Young? What about the victims of the non-celebrities who have been affected in this county? Cook County, Crook County. Are you going to hold a press conference on everyone? About everyone? Your neighbor, Kim Foxx, my neighbor, our neighbor, raped a 6-year-old girl, and you have not come out on the news and said that we realize that this man is a danger to the community and we're doing everything we can to prosecute this case to the fullest extent of the law. You should have spoke out and said something. If you can't help a situation that's right in your own neighborhood, what can you do for the rest of the county? That's the question that all the voters need to be asking. Kim Foxx is in movies now. She's a television star. She was in Surviving R. Kelly Aftermath. All of this right around leading up to her re-election. She wants to be seen and heard. And John Legend, you need to be quiet because you don't even live here. And the fact that you want to say you're endorsing Kim Foxx, you endorsed a movie that slandered someone. Don't even get me started on you. But I'm sure you know what that feels like since recently you've had your own situation where people have said things about you and your wife that turned out to be slander as well. But that's another story. This is not the John Legend and Chrissy Teigen story. The bottom line is this. She is bombarded by celebrity, and she's using celebrity to get reelected. So are you voting for the celebrities that are supporting her? Who are you voting for? You need to take a serious look into the history of what has transpired in Cook County since Kim Foxx has been state's attorney. And I am tired of it. And I had to speak out about it. But you know, one of the worst things that I discovered? Her own campaign treasurer and chairperson, Nakia Gibson, committed battery on a process server. Take a look.
This is very unusual that someone's at my house, so I'm
Okay, ma'am, this is a subpoena, so if you fail to appear, then you're going to be held in contempt.
That's fine, but you come with the and I don't care to be, whatever.
First of all, don't touch me.
First of all, you should not be.
Don't touch me.
You going to take the subpoena? No, I'm not going to take anything from someone who's just coming up and you can say whatever you are.
Ma'am, I am a process server.
Who does that? They do it in a much more professional.
Ma'am, I am a process server.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, so, Ms. Gibson, are you going to accept the subpoena or not?
You can do whatever you want. I'm no longer dealing with someone that's just knocking on my door.
Ma'am, I'm a process server. That's what I do for a living.
You can say whatever you are. That doesn't matter. That doesn't.
Ma'am, I have a subpoena for you.
That's fine. I'm not dealing with you.
It's a yes or no question. Are you going to take the subpoena or not?
I'm dealing with you.
I'm sorry?
I'm not dealing with you.
Ma'am, do you want the subpoena or not?
I'm not dealing with you at this point.
So you're not going to accept service?
I'm not dealing with you.
All right, no problem. Here you are. Please respond to the subpoena, okay? Do you have any questions for me? Are you going to leave the subpoena on the ground?
I'm leaving.
All right, ma'am. Well, I'm very sorry to bother you. I hope you have a wonderful night, okay? 2, 4, 5, 8, 7, 5, 8.
Now, you see, that was ridiculous. However, when it was brought to Kim Foxx's attention, when she was in the debate with the other candidates running for her seat with the Chicago Tribune editorial board, she said she fired Nakia Gibson. Firing a problem doesn't make it go away. What would have been the appropriate thing for Kim FOXX to do was to hold a press conference and let the community know that I am going to set an example. My treasurer and chairperson of my campaign committed battery on a process server. We don't tolerate that type of behavior in our office. I have fired her and I am pressing charges. Nakia Gibson should have been arrested, and Kim FOXX did nothing about that. She has criminals working for her. She should have been arrested. And let me tell you this, all this about, well, the people have to press charges, the community has to press charges. No, let me tell you something. The state can press charges without any witnesses if they choose to. She chose not to press charges against this person. And that was wrong. So let's just sum this up. Kim FOXX neighbor rapes a 6-year-old girl. Judge gives him bail. And she doesn't show up for any community meetings. She doesn't show up. She doesn't respond. She doesn't hold any press conferences. And by the way, Christopher Young is in jail now with no bail after, I would say, I fussed about it and called and complained and emailed. And I don't want to take credit for that because it could have been other people that had something to do with it as well. She's playing celebrity to get reelected. And then her former treasurer and campaign chairperson commits a crime. So really, honestly, voters of Cook County, is this the type of individual that you want in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office? There are 700 attorneys in that office, and you couldn't send anybody in your place to a community watch meeting, to a meeting to speak on behalf of that office and concerned citizens so we could create stronger sex offender laws. But you could show up in R. Kelly's Surviving R. Kelly Aftermath on Lifetime. You can show up in front of the press for everything else you're doing. You can get all of your celebrity endorsements. Kim FOXX must go. And it's up to you, the people of Cook County, to make that change. Once again, this is not an endorsement for any other candidate. There are 3 other candidates running for Cook County State's Attorney. Pick one, but do not vote for Kim FOXX. Thank you, House Hallelujah, and House the Vote.